Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Let's start a story in which the boss of our OP is also his uncle. The uncle did not come out the winner in their dispute. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. So there's no such thing as overtime? Great, good to know. So a bit of backstory. My BF's boss is a bit of a jerk, but unfortunately he's also his uncle. My boyfriend works in IT. He handles a lot of complaints regarding servers and general IT stuff. For the past 3 years, he's worked overtime for free. It's difficult to say no to family. He answers his personal phone and has to drive long distances to fix problems clients are having, sometimes at 10 o'clock at night. Recently, we've been trying to save money to make a life together, so my boyfriend asked the boss to finally get paid for all the overtime hours he'll be working from now on. The boss is livid. He states that he will not pay my boyfriend overtime money, and he shouldn't ask again, and that he should be grateful for his job. He concludes by saying there is no such thing as overtime in this business. So now my boyfriend does not answer any calls after 5 or before 8. The boss now has to take all those calls and drive the ridiculous distances himself. Boyfriend gets called in and asked why he isn't picking up his phone because the clients are getting really upset at him. BF's answer, "Sorry, but you said there's no such thing as overtime." I've never been more proud. And our second story. Don't want to pay small fee? Good luck losing your massive discount. I work at an electricity company call center. If you need electricity at your new house, you call me. If you got disconnected, you call me for a reconnection. This lady called to ask for a reconnection for her house. Sure thing. Her tenants moved out months back, and the lady, as the landlord, did not arrange to take over for the electricity bills, so the power was cut. Which I do not blame her for this. Sometimes people just forget or don't realize they need to actively take over for the bills and keep the power on between tenants. In this case, the house sat empty for something like 6 months. There's no electricity usage to bill for, but there are cable charges. Not sure if this is particular to my country or not, but there is a daily charge for cables. In this lady's circumstances, I'm supposed to charge her something like $2 a day as cable charge, since her tenants last paid a bill $2 a day for 6 months. But I didn't feel good about charging her that massive bill, and the company allows us to make judgment calls on loyal customers, in which case I can change her pricing plan to a lesser daily charge in turn for a higher electricity charge. Since the house is disconnected, I thought to myself, higher electricity price is not going to affect her since she didn't use any. She can benefit from paying less for the daily. This is technically not available for her, and I'm not supposed to do it. But what the hell? I can do it, so I did. I put her on the kind of pricing plan which will charge her 30 cents a day. The dates were fuzzy and there wasn't enough documentation, so I shaved off a couple of weeks of her charge. As much as I know I'm legally allowed. Then I start to explain to her the reconnection process. There's a $70 reconnection fee. She went absolutely insane. The basic gist of it was that she completely refused to pay any fee and she had never heard of such a thing before. Implied that I'm wrong, I don't know my job, and she never had to pay any reconnection fees before. I explained to her, of course, that she wouldn't have because the reconnection fee only applies when the house is disconnected and we need to send out contractors to reconnect the place, and they do charge a fixed price. There's nothing I can do about it. She started to threaten to leave the company and go with a different company. I explained to her that all companies would charge this fee, and the fee is actually around $120 to $150. Our company is actually one of the cheaper ones when it comes to reconnection. If you book it before 4 p.m., it's $70. After 4 p.m., after-hour charges, $120. Other companies charge a flat $120 or even up to $150. This conversation is happening around 3:30 p.m., so she still has time, but not much. When she threatened to go with a different company, I told her, "Sorry to hear that, but this is the most I can do for you. If you're not happy with our charges, you're free to sign up with another company," which again infuriated her. For some reason, she thought I would bend policy, rules, math, etc. to keep her as a customer, and she was super offended that I didn't. Kept yelling, "How can you say that to a customer? I'm telling you, I'll go to another company." In turn, I very politely, because I'm on record, say, That's your prerogative. Would you like me to close your account with us? She gave me a 15-minute long speech about how I should be able to accommodate the customer a little bit, how I should be flexible, etc. She completely ignored the fact that I was charging her 30 cents a day, even though the actual charge is $2 a day, giving her 2 weeks for completely free, etc. In the end, when I did not budge on the reconnection fee, which I can't, she angrily told me to close her account. I even asked her if she was sure, to have it on record. She said yes. Then I did close her account and told her, "I've closed your account with us. Have a good day." Of course, she hung up without a word. Next day, a friend from the same office caught up with me, asked if I was speaking to this lady. I said yes. Apparently, after she told me to close her account, she called several other power companies and around 7 p.m. called our company back. Then, when she was told her account was closed, she was shocked. My friend proceeded to arrange the reconnection, but of course the technically 30 cents a day charge was not applicable to her house. So my friend proceeded to charge her $2 a day for the full 6 months, and by now the clock had ticked over to after hours, so the lady ended up paying $120 for reconnection. My friend said, "I heard you on the phone with her and thought you'd want to know." Yes, thank you. Sometimes we get these sorts of customers, but you never get closure on it because even if they get their just desserts, they get it somewhere else. This time around, it was my pleasure to hear how that situation ended. And our last story. Retail revenge on corrupt coworkers and managers. Years ago, I worked at a plus-size women's clothing store in a bad part of town. The store was part of a national chain, and its clothing was designed for the younger crowd. Our store was not part of a mall, but was part of a strip mall that sat right up against some low-income housing. I really enjoyed working there because I got to help people shop. I also enjoyed helping plus-size girls feel beautiful. My pay was barely above minimum wage, but my husband works in IT and he makes enough money to keep us comfortable. There were a few things I didn't like about my company. For one, they made us sell magazine subscriptions at the register that were basically a scam. It's 25 cents a year now, but you'll be charged an inflated rate next year for a renewal. I felt bad because I knew many of my customers were low income and probably wouldn't remember to cancel. The other thing we were required to do is aggressively push our store credit card. I wasn't good at pushing the magazines or the credit cards, and it was no secret that our regional manager was not pleased with my performance. Despite having amazing sales numbers, because my magazine and credit applications were low, I was treated poorly by my store manager, Gina, and the regional manager, Rick. Out of all the associates, I was the only one that had trouble getting magazine subscribers and credit applicants. I later discovered that one of the associates had a boyfriend who would give his drug addict customers a discount in exchange for their personal information and social security numbers so his girlfriend could run their info on credit applications. This associate was best friends with our store manager, Gina. This girl shared all of this information with all of the associates except for me. I later heard that I was resented because I was a rich white bee. Another crappy part of working at this store was dealing with shoplifters. Even though the city's police station was across the street from our store, people would come in and try to pull a fast one on us. If we knew someone was shoplifting, one of the associates would start a conversation with the shoplifter while the other associate went in the back room to call the police. Our store had no anti-theft systems and it had no security cameras. Because our amount of shrink was so high, our store was put on probation and we regularly had a company come in and take inventory of our merchandise. We knew how much our store was losing every 3 months. Corporate sent down some head honchos from loss prevention that would interview us one at a time and try and figure out if one of the staff was stealing. The man they sent was named Jack. Jack gave me his name and cell number and told me I could call him if I noticed or suspected any of my coworkers was stealing. On one of the days that our merchandise was going to be inventoried, the regional manager, Rick, arrived. This was odd because Rick lived in the neighboring state somewhere. He must have left his home at 4 a.m. to be there when we opened. Rick spent the day manipulating the inventory results. He would do things like make the people taking inventory scan empty shoeboxes and inventory shirts twice. I went home and wrote down everything that I remembered. On July 3rd, I received a text from Gina. She wanted to know if I had set aside a particular shirt to purchase for myself. She sent a picture of the shirt. I told her it wasn't mine. The following day, I noticed Gina had posted pictures of herself at a July 4th barbecue wearing the shirt. When I got to work the following day, I checked the inventory. No associates made any purchases all that week. That shirt was never sold in any size at our store, but one was missing from the racks. Gina had stolen it. I went home and created a PowerPoint presentation with screenshots of my text messages with Gina about the shirt, details from our inventory, and pictures from Gina's Facebook page showing she had the shirt. I also provided the details of the credit card application scams my coworkers were running. I sent this off to Jack, the loss prevention guy at corporate, and waited. Within an hour, my phone lit up. Jack told me I would be transferred to any store I chose for coming forward, and I was rewarded with a $100 gift card. He told me they knew about the credit card applications being fake because the same 20 people were applying over and over again. I knew that no matter what store I chose, Rick would still be my boss, so I told Jack I would think about it. When I got to work the following day, Rick and Jack were there. Gina and her best friend were fired and were already gone. Within one effing week, I was being written up for not having enough credit apps. I quit right then and there. I went home and called Jack and told him about Rick's inventory manipulations. I gave a tip about our magazine program to a major consumer publication, and they published stuff about it on their website. This chain used to have 20 locations in our state. Now it has just 2. I just looked on LinkedIn, and Rick still works for the company. Oh well. I feel like I got revenge. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.